In order to navigate oneself through life and to be able to feel that they are living and making the most of what they got, then it is necessary to take a gamble and roll the dice and see what numbers do come up. Sometimes your numbers will come up, at other times they won't. One takes the good with the bad, should I say. And I have already written my story, which is in black and white, but I also want to express it orally. And it's not going to be easy, and that is why I am now taking that gamble. I accept that I am going to often stumble and stutter my way through these video presentations, but I'm willing to take that gamble. And that means using my voice to tell a story. One of the questions that I am asked, because of having a name like Vincenzo Russo, is whether I actually speak Italian. And yes, I come from an Italian background. And no, I cannot speak Italian properly. Due to what happened early in life, and at a very critical period of growing up, I was placed in an orphanage at the age of 6 and spent 3 years. It was an Australian orphanage, and hence they only taught English. And as a result of that, I thus lost my connection with the Italian language and also with my Italian background, which had dire consequences for when I returned back to the family, because language is important and necessary for a functioning family unit to get on with each other and live day to day, and to be able to get things done, for the parents to do what they need to and to bring up their children correctly and give them a sense of purpose. But because I was so disconnected with my background and language, and it not only happened to me with not being able to speak Italian, but it also happened with others, like some of my brothers and sisters. And it resulted in considerable emotional and psychological damage in the individual and caused considerable conflict within the household. And that went on for years and years and years. For me, it had the effect of keeping silent, because the responses, the words just weren't there, and hence I remained a prisoner of my own mind, sitting in the corner or on the outer, not saying a lot, feeling as if I was an outcast and not being able to participate in family gatherings, family conversations, in family decision making. And of course, that conflict, that inner turmoil within the mind just grew and grew and grew and caused more damage over the years. Many who are listening to this broadcast would relate to that quite well and know what it's like to be continually fighting with oneself. Because up here, it's the devil. The devil sometimes wants to control the house within. And he'll do most things. He'll do most anything to take control and keep you in bondage and in chains, so you don't live a fulfilling life. I attempted to learn Italian at a later stage in my life, even attending a university course, which went on for about 2 years. And I thought I was getting the hang of it, but that soon proved to be wrong, because it's hard to get the connection back when the damage has already been done. And is it something that I regret? No. Only in regards to, not having that closeness and that bond with other members of the family. Like with my mother. My mother died at the age of 93 in an aged care facility. And during those last few weeks, I went to visit and stayed for a while. But still, we could not communicate and tell each other, our innermost secrets and thoughts. But then again, the silence did help, because one doesn't necessarily need to vocalize what one wants to say or what one feels, because the connection is often strengthened by an energy, by something invisible which cannot be seen, but it's powerful and strong. And I am grateful for those last few weeks, because a close relationship was formed in silence. And yes, she died at the age of 93. A few days after my last visit. And do I still regret that I may not have a close relationship with other members of the family because of the language difficulties? And of course now, because of distance, no, I don't regret that. Now, what has passed has passed. It's time for me to take a gamble and roll the dice and see what the numbers actually come up. Good or bad. And I'll keep speaking, and as I said, one is going to find me stumbling and stuttering in trying to put some words together. And often that's the thing, is that when one has been living in their head all the time, nothing makes sense. And one just can't formulate and put or string words together to be able to get them out for others and even oneself. To make sense of what one wants to really say. Especially trying to get the thoughts and the mind, which is controlled by that devil inside, which wants to keep you continually under control. It's hard to get the mind in sync with the heart, because that's where life is stored. Everything happens from the heart. But it's the external world outside that keeps telling you that no, you've got to live in the head. You've got to be able to exist in the outside world and be able to respond so you feel important, so one is able to contribute to the economy, to society and whatever. But at a very fundamental level, it is the heart which one needs to attend to, because it is one's connection to the universe and to all things, because everything and all things are connected. There is an old Chinese proverb which goes as such, and I know that there's a lot more to it than what I have or what I will be briefly expressing. The old Chinese proverb goes like this: if there is right in the soul, then there will be beauty in the person. If there is beauty in the person, then there will be harmony in the home. If there is harmony in the home, then there will be order in the nation. And if there is order in the nation, then there will be peace in the world. So as I understand it, it means one needs to go back into the heart, in that one thing that is yours and yours alone, in order to be right with the soul. It's not an easy concept to take in, because individuals are continually reminded and told, no, they have to live outside of themselves and do what they're told, what society expects, and to be a model and a good citizen. That's all well and good, but what is it if you lose your soul and give it away to others or to a system? What good is that? Because one day, when it comes time to part this earthly existence, one is going to look back and think, where has all the time gone? Why have I not been able to live, experience life in this physical body and presence? But I'm not here to tell what others need to think or do. I'm using this format, this platform, in which to finally be able to express myself and put all these thoughts which have been stored there for years, just circulating around and around and not going anywhere, like a merry-go-round. You get on and it just goes on and on and on, and one just simply waits for an opening to be able to get off. Let me off, is often what is said as life goes round and round and round and round, going around in circles. The machinery that drives that merry-go-round, that doesn't care. It's got a whole lot of other passengers on board. You don't count. We're not going to stop the machine just to let you off. You get off when it's time. And so I get back to language. Language is important, but it's not everything. Two people can sit in the one place and remain silent and know that they have a special connection between them. They can sense each other's feelings and wants and needs without having to express it orally. It's a tool which is all too often depended upon. But does it have to rule every second, every minute, every moment of one's life? And you're probably wondering, who is this guy? What is he saying? Here he is talking about language and sometimes the need to be silent. And here he is just waffling on and going on in trying to say something. Well, I can't control what one other thinks, what somebody else thinks. They would have to make their own decisions. But as I said, I will try and use this platform in which to be able to tell my story. And know that it is an important story. It contains information which might and may be useful to others. And they may pick up some knowledge as to whether they would be able to learn from my experiences over 60 years. And that's that's some 6 decades. And that's that's not a drop in an ocean, but can be viewed as actually being the ocean. A lot of water has flowed under the bridge over the years, and there is a lot to tell, and I have written about those years in my self-published memoirs, Keeping in Touch with Cheryl, a memoir. And while it is a story, it also contains an underlying message and theme in that it is important to keep in touch and get to know one's past, because by not knowing, one doesn't know how one has got to the present. And if one doesn't know who they are and why they are actually here right now, then they're not going to know where they are going. Which means that they rely on others to make decisions for them, to set them on a path that they don't want to go on or towards, and they will regret it later on. Well, I'm pleased. I took the gamble and, well, I feel pleased and comfortable with what I've achieved in these last few minutes. But as they say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And so it would be up to the individual who is listening and watching this video to decide and judge themselves as to what they are taking from what I have said and what I have presented. Do leave any comments in the comment section and let me know how you have found this presentation. Yeah, don't be shy. You can be as brutal as possible. Since I also like to think that I have learnt many lessons over the years. And one of them is that one needs to become like a turtle and have a very thick shell on the outer, where criticisms are reflected off, and I then will decide what I will take in and what I won't. And a reminder about going to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I'm not able to put the link down the bottom because I really don't know where the bottom is. But a link can be found at the website Vincenzo, or rather, start again, wet my whistle, www.vincenzorusso.com.au, where not only this video can be found, but also others. And so until until next time when I post another video, bye. And I do know that Italians do say ciao. Bye.